Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Turn my camera on here. All right, there we go. All right, how y'all doing this morning?
Good. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good, thank you.
Awesome, guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good. We're gonna get ready to kick it off here, guys, and I'm gonna share my screen here in just a minute. But man, everybody getting ready for Thanksgiving. Y'all getting ready, getting all set. Got family coming over.
Yeah, we're getting ready for tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Thursday.
Yeah, they're good. Awesome. Same here. Okay, guys. Again, welcome to our Agent Academy. We're calling this our new Agent Academy. Kind of really to really slow down and give everybody the basics. Especially a strong foundation. Good morning, April. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you. Giving everybody that strong foundation, because there's a lot of things. I know we have other meetings during the week where, we're kind of rocking and rolling. There's a lot of top producers, campers, icons, but we wanted to take some time to really slow down and talk about some of the basics, some of the things that, a lot of us, we learned back in the day, or we picked up along the way with our experience. Just being out in the marketplace and have picked up some best practices and ways, and kind of I find myself always talking to my new agents. Well, I like, this is kind of the norm. This is the standard. This is things, are talking about things that are not written down on paper, but this is kind of the norm. This is how we do it. Like the other day I was talking to an agent, and we don't send all the files. We put it in a PDF. We just send one file when you're submitting your offer. It's just those little things, like those little details that a lot of us experienced agents, have learned and picked up along the way that we take for granted, but it's so valuable for those new agents to know these things. So this is, so we had a vision to kind of slow down and, pick a day where we just really talk about the basics, and also some high level stuff as well, mindset and prioritizing and planning and scheduling, goal setting, things like that too. So I think it's going to be a little bit of something for everybody on these calls, but especially for our newer agents. Again, welcome everybody. Welcome. If you have any new agents on in your group, your team, send them a text message. Tell them to get on here. So, and want to shout out to some of our mentors on, Pam and Tim, top producing cappers. So thank you all for being on. Jason, thank you for being on, sir. And the rest of y'all, thank y'all. Legacy Builders and Dream Team, thank y'all.
Yes.
On. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. So just to kick it off before we get into, so every week we've been hitting a certain topic. Today we're going to be talking about home inspection and the financing and appraisal contingency, really doing a deep dive into that. Last week, we were talking about ratified contracts. So all of this will be rolling around, guys. And we also have the recording for them too. So if you want to check out the recordings, those are available too. But we had a great session last week on ratified contracts, getting into really the nitty gritty of a ratified contract. And what does that mean? So today, home inspections, finance contingencies. But before we get into it, guys, just want to, 2023, start getting that mindset like 2023 is going to be your best year ever. Anybody believe that on this call? Anybody believe that 2023 is going to be your best year ever?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Start declaring that. Start putting it out in the atmosphere. Start saying it everywhere you go. Believe in it. Put in your heart that 2023 is going to be my best year in real estate. You want to do a quantum leap. There's no reason just you as a new agent have to creep along and maybe just do 2 or 3 transactions. No, you can be a top producer, guys, all according to your belief and your mindset level. That's why we wanted you to level up and skill up during this season right here, so you can just hit the ground running in 2023. Come January, you rolling, all this basic stuff. There's nothing stopping you, nothing blocking you. So 2023 can be your best year ever. Get out of the mindset that, oh, I'm a new agent and, maybe I'll do 3 or 4 or 5 deals. No, you can come out of the gate making $100,000. Anybody believe that they can cross that 6-figure mark next year in
Yes,
2023?
sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But guys, it starts up here in that mindset. You got to believe it. You got to believe it for yourself. You got to know you're surrounded by a lot of great agents. We've got a lot of awesome mentors. We do cross mentorship. So it's not like you with Dream Team, you can call anybody. You can call Tim. It doesn't have to be your mentor on paper. I'm your mentor. You can reach out to me, call me, text me, Pam, Tim. Just reach out to somebody on the team, and we're right there with you to support you and give you our advice on anything. You're working with a buyer, working with a seller, you got a question, you got a situation, you're never stuck, you're never alone. So what that means is that, you have unlimited potential here. But it's all according to your grind, your hustle. Are you willing to go out there and make it happen for you and your family in 2023? So this is that time, guys, to level up between now and the end of the year, because come January, guys, it's game on. It's really game on night right now, but I'm just saying, I'm just giving you all kind of a starting point. We use that as a starting point, but really 2023 is really starting now. If you can get that in your mindset as well, that is starting now. You want to start picking up the momentum now. You want to start talking to buyers now, talking to sellers now, getting everything, not just being learn mode. Yeah, we're learning, but we're also in grind mode too. When I say take this time from now to the end of the year to learn, you're not just learning, you're also putting in the work. You're starting to build up that momentum now, picking up the pace, picking up the speed. So come January, you're full blown. You're running into January. You're already at a sprint. Does that make sense, y'all?
Yes, it does.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Yes. So have that mindset, guys. You're running now. You're running now. You're picking up the pace. You're picking up speed. You're learning as you go. It's kind of like OJT, on the job training. You gotta, when you start working, you just can't be in learn mode. You start working at a job, a company, they don't want you to just be, you got to learn on the job. It's on OJT. You learn as you earn type thing. So, all right, guys. So definitely get your goals down. Work on your goals for 2023. Give yourself a stretch goal. What's going to be my stretch goal? Forget being brand new, guys. What's your stretch goals? What can you really believe for? What can you believe for? What's your if everybody says, put $100,000 down, put $100,000 down, guys. And then we're going to work backwards and we're going to break down how many transactions that is. That could be 10, 12, 15, just depending on your market, where you're located. I know Taz, she's down in the Richmond area, so it may take a couple of more transactions because, the price points may be a little bit lower. Same thing in Jason, Pittsburgh. Jason, how many transactions you think for 100,000 of where you are? If he's there, if he can talk.
Well, I mean, it depends on 15, 20. I mean, it depends.
It depends, yeah.
It depends.
Yeah. So
Where
do-
in Pittsburgh,
gotcha. Dude,
yeah,
just
south and east. I mean, you can buy $30,000 houses. You can buy houses that are $50,000.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, north, just north of Pittsburgh, the value's a little higher, a little bit west, the city, obviously, but once you get outside of the city, it's country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do the math, guys, and determine what's going to be your price point, what area that you're going to focus in. Early on, not early on, but last couple of years, I decided that I wanted to give myself a raise. I wanted to sell bigger homes, more expensive homes. So that's another thing, guys. You can give yourself a raise in this business by focusing in on different neighborhoods, different communities where the price points are higher. Learn how to be that luxury agent. Learn how to, sell homes, and because it's the same work, guys. Same thing that you do for a $30,000 or $50,000 home. The same thing I do pretty much for a $500,000 home. So give yourself a raise. Raise your mindset. So okay. just a few more things before we get right into our training, guys. Promoting, marketing, get really good at marketing yourself. Get really good at marketing, because it's not about the agent that knows the most. It's the agent that markets the most. Have that mindset. I got to let everybody know that I'm in the business. Everybody know. Everybody know. If you had a budget, you'll want to be on that. If you had the income, the budget to be on TV, radio 24/7, 365 days out of the year, then you would get the most business. Whatever you can do, guys, market yourself, promote yourself, social media, letting everybody know, calls, texts, emails, videos, door knocking, open houses, everything. The one who markets the most, get their name out there the most, that they're the realtor to call on, guys, is going to sell the most. Got to give them, got to market, and you got to follow up. When the leads start coming in, you got to follow up with the leads or they will die. It's like manna coming in. You gotta you want to consume it right then. come tomorrow, they go. Speed to lead. Write that down, guys. Speed to lead. When a lead comes in, you want to be on that lead. Does that make sense, y'all? You can't wait. Speed to lead and follow up. Have a follow-up system. Okay, we'll talk about follow-up systems on another, but we're gonna jump into this home inspection, guys. Home inspections. Has everybody been on a home inspection, done a home inspection?
Yes, sir.
Had a heard about a home inspection? Okay. Can y'all see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, let's break it down, guys. Home inspection. So first one to kind of kick it off, talking about, what else we got on? Oh, we had a couple more people come on. Hey, good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. Sonia, Andrew, Gemma, Tanya, everybody. All right, guys, that's home inspection contingencies, guys. So in most of our markets, there should be some type of home inspection type contingency or addendum, something to talk about home inspections. They may look different. The forms may look a little different in every different area, but home inspection in today's market conditions. First, determining buyer seller's market. What kind of market are we in? Can I first ask for a home inspection? 2 years ago, it wasn't happening. Is that right, y'all?
That's right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it wasn't happening. You couldn't get a home inspection. You couldn't even think about asking for a home inspection. So in today's market, let's talk about it. Let's talking about today. In most markets, now home inspections are back. We can get a home inspection again. Buyer, go ahead, somebody.
No, go ahead, Rob.
So buyer, determine if it's a buyer or seller's market. Of course, still kind of depends on if there's other offers on the table. A lot of kind of residual is still kind of hanging around from 2 years ago, a year ago. So you may have some really zealous agent that may submit an offer without a home inspection contingency. But for the most part, we can get home inspections for your buyers right now. Even if it's just a right to void, informational purposes with the right to void only, you can get a home inspection right now. Is that right, guys? Are y'all seeing that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's absolutely correct.
Okay. The number of days. So I said watch for the name. Sometime I was kind of going back and forth between seller mindset, seller and buyer. So as we're talking about this, you will kind of pick up on some things that you're looking for from the seller perspective, but for the most part, we're talking about you representing the buyer. So the number of days, watch for the number of days. So I usually keep it 7 to 10 days. And maybe even 5. That number's kind of going up more as we come out of this, this crazy market that we were in. 5, 7, and then maybe a 10. But 5 to 7 is kind of, I think, where I'm kind of been most of the time. What about you guys? As far as submitting that offer request?
It's about
5 to
7.
Yeah,
5 to 7, but you, because of the radon, when they throw that radon in there, then give a couple extra days so they can go, leave that radon detector for a couple of days and go back and pick it up. So if I was
Good.
gonna do a 5 days, I'd say 7. If we're gonna do, 10 days, you can accomplish everything in there, even if it's radon. Get that inspector out quick, but give yourself some time.
Okay. The thing to know, new agents, that it's a competitive piece of your offer. So if you get another offer, they're just asking for, or they're asking for no inspection or for informational purposes, we just want 3 days to do it. I can get my inspector out there tomorrow. So you got to kind of factor that in. If there's more than one offer on the table, then they may lean more toward that one. That was a little bit more competitive. So, try to have a few home inspectors lined up, ready to go, because you may have to cut that time down to make it more attractive to the buyers. And I'm only talking about if there's other offers on the table, to make it more attractive to the sellers. I mean, if it's less days that you want to remove that contingency completely, meaning that you can't use that contingency to get out of the contract. Okay. Set expectation for buyers. Let's talk about it, guys. When you're representing a buyer, are we setting expectations for the buyer when we do a home inspection? Are we having that conversation about, hey, we're going to be looking for health and safety issues? Home inspector is going to find a whole lot of stuff in the house, but house is 20 years old, 15 years old. We're looking for health and safety issues. How are y'all having that conversation? Because that's a difficult conversation. Sometimes and it's even harder for some of the first-time home buyers.
This is my recommendation when it comes to on your buyer consultation, because this is probably what I'm going to say is going to lead into your next one, which says a good home inspector. Be very, very careful when you're selecting a home inspector and when you're talking to your buyers on your consultations. A home inspection is not a shopping list. A home inspection is not a list for them to get every single thing done.
Yeah.
So when you're having a consultation and you're telling about home inspection, break it down into, number one, this is an opportunity for you as a homeowner to understand and know the house. Number two, this is an opportunity for you to be able to ask questions that you're not familiar with. Number three, this is an opportunity for you to understand what are maintenance issues, which will be your responsibility when you own the home, which the current homeowner should have been doing. Maintenance, make sure you say that. It's a maintenance issue. There are going to be maintenance issues. Number four, we're going to also talk about things that are structural in nature, which will be your big ticket items, your HVAC, your roof, the actual structure of the property itself. Let them understand, things like that. Then safety issues and mandatory issues like smoke detectors and things like that. And then break it down to them to let them understand this, especially if you're in a situation where, number one, you're dealing with a very competitive market because you want to shorten that time frame again, like we were talking about. So let them understand that if it's a structural issue, or even if we're writing an offer and we're saying we're just buying it, or because the home is being sold as is, and we want to, either right to void or right to negotiate, or just for informational purposes only on our inspection, put their mind at ease and rest that if it's a structural issue, the house is about to fall into the ground, it's about to collapse because it's not structurally sound, or it's the roof, or it's the HVAC. Those are the things, as your agent, that I'm going to really go after to get the seller to either fix or help us, with some kind of credit, because those are very important. And you can go into depth in a different way on how to also handle that. But don't let them understand that it's different from when we have a situation where we're just talking about there's, that it looks like a settlement issue, or we're talking about, whatever the minor things are that are not great, crazy stuff. We're talking about an HVAC that the filter needs to be changed or whatever. Those are maintenance issues. That's not something for us to, go crazy about and say we must get them to fix that. Because the home inspector will put on there. Because remember, the job of the home inspector is, number one, to protect themselves, because they are also ensuring that they're guaranteeing their inspection work for at least a year. So don't let the 10 pages of the things they find that say repair or replace this and all that, don't let it detract you. Don't let it make your buyer think that, oh my gosh, this is a terrible house, we're not going to buy it or whatever. Otherwise, it makes it harder. And let them understand. Most of the things will actually probably end up being a maintenance issue, things that they also need to pay attention to. For example, you come in on the driveway and you see like a hair crack on the driveway or whatever. It doesn't mean the seller is going to fix that, because it's just a crack. It's a settlement thing. He probably just needs to cement it or mortar it up and it's done. But the seller is probably not going to fix that. But if we focus on that and we miss the stairway that is actually gap this much about to fall away, then it gets them scared on every single thing. They see all this line, they see all this, oh no, this is too much of a problem. So it's that'll be my quick synopsis of that.
That's
Like
great.
that. I
That was
agree with
good.
everything Jimmy said. He was spot on.
Spot on.
I think the one thing I will add for the new agent, please don't let the first time you're in a home inspection be when you're taking your client. If you can help it at all, try to shadow somebody so that you know what to expect. Because you're going to want to ask questions, because you want to know what's going on, but you don't want your buyer to be afraid because you are asking so many questions related to process. Understand the process of what's happening and then be able to have the conversation that Jimmy's talking about so that you set the expectation for your buyers that, yeah, we're not going in here because every little thing that they put on the list, all these 10 pages, we want to get repaired. All right. The more you know, the better your home inspection appointment will be.
That's awesome.
This is Andrew. I have a question. Is there any material out there that when you do the buyer consultation, you can give them as part of the package to say that this is the process, and when we get to this point, and when we do the home buyers inspection, you're going to find many things, but these are the category. These are the major things that we need to be addressed, because the bank might not write a note, because they probably get a copy of that report too, and they won't write the note unless it's fixed. So those things we will get addressed, but the maintenance issue, it is as it is. Is there anything out there like that you can put in with the buyer's consultation to make that process easier?
Can I answer that real quick? Because Andrew says something that is very important that I need to address.
Yeah.
You can put your own, you can put some things together. You definitely can. If you use MBH, for example, MBH has they have a buyer's guide that talks about, certain things
I was looking for
that you want to, talk about. So it's in there. However, this is the one thing two things I want to say, but one thing I want to address about that is this. Andrew, sometimes it's best to just go over it and say, with certain things that we're going to expect, as opposed to giving them something that they hold on to. And I explain the reason why. A lot of the times, if I give you something ahead of time and say, we're going to focus on HVAC, we're going to focus on the roof, we're going to focus on this or whatever, and you have that in your hand, but those are highlights and bullet points that you see. If for any reason I'm not able to be there with you, or even if I'm there with you and the home inspector says something that is scary to you without context, it could make it easy for the buyer to say, you know what, this is not the right house. So I just kind of want you to be a little bit leery of that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, put something together or use the MBH packet, but don't make it too detailed as in out of context, but deal with it each time you go there. Real quick, because I don't want to forget this point, when you are actually doing a home inspection and you're writing that report and stuff, your home inspection report does not go to the lender.
Right.
Ever, ever, ever. If it goes to the lender, you're creating a problem.
Yeah.
In fact, if the lender sees an attachment or an addendum that talks about what you want credit-wise and all this that needs to be fixed in the home inspection, you've already blown the deal. Because most lenders, it's a privacy issue. It's something they don't want to be concerned about. So you don't want to even involve them in that at all. Now, real flip. So going back to talking about that inspection, it's about to escape me. When you are there, when you're doing the walkthrough or you're showing the property to the client, right? Like Pam said, one of the things you want to do in that process is this. When you're looking at, if you notice something about the HVAC, talk specifically about that house, that HVAC that you saw. Oh, you see, we're walking through here right now. Look at this HVAC. It looks like, this something like this, based on what we're looking at, on there, you might say the year it was installed or whatever. You can say then this is fairly new. So in this particular case, this one, maintenance will be the biggest thing we need to focus on this. If it looks old and it looks like it's on this, whatever, we'll be like, when we get a home inspection, the home inspector will tell us the viability of the remaining life of this unit. And we may have to focus on that because this is a bigger item if there's something that we need to be aware of or to tell them. Now, if the home inspector says it's working and everything is good, this happens a lot with water heaters. The water heater could be there and it could be 50 years old. You and I know he's on his last leg at 50 years old. So you might want to say it at that point that if it's working, they're not necessarily going to want to change it. But if the home inspector says it's really a huge problem, maybe we can talk to them and see if they want to, replace it. But I can't guarantee it. When you're saying stuff like that already, when you're doing that, showing that house, it kind of like blunts the effect and the feeling of that shocker. Hold on a minute. Of that shocker when they actually get that report. How that makes sense.
That's good.
Absolutely.
That's good. Okay. All right, guys, make sure y'all taking some notes on this, some nuggets.
Hey, I have a quick comment, please. This is Tanya. So yes, I'm learning from both ends. And I think it's really helpful if anyone is doing a home inspection. That's maybe something I can throw out on the WhatsApp thing so that I would love to go. Just so that I can learn, because I got a little confused. So thanks to Pam and Tim on the actual contract, writing the author, and like how many days go where. So just back to those just minor basics of just understanding what, like I'm hearing what we're saying on this call, but then I'm also trying to figure out, and I will repeat, I'll look at the tape again today, but just kind of like, where does that correlate on the contract so that I understand, like I hear like I get it, but I don't totally get it, And so I think that's just the helpful thing. Like all these things are so super helpful, but if it's almost like open houses, if somebody's having a home inspection, I would love to attend with them to observe.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Drop it in the WhatsApp, Tanya.
Yes, sir.
That you want to attend one out, and I'll definitely anybody on this Zoom now. If you have one, let Tanya know. Good. Okay.
Yeah. There are some things also, I want to say that on some of the forms, especially when you're talking about to do things, that you have to think about what else is happening. For example, you have a ratified contract today, actually putting in an offer today, and you're going to do a home inspection contingency. You got to think, okay, so today is Tuesday. I got Wednesday. Thursday's a holiday. Friday might be. Then I got the weekend. You have to think about those days in relation to what else is happening. Because within that time frame that you're requesting that home inspection, or that you're saying you're going to do a home inspection, you have to schedule the home inspection, have the home inspection, get the home inspection report, review it with your buyer, and get your request back over to the seller. So that's why there's a difference sometimes in the number of days that we're talking about.
And see, I put some of that together, but I didn't put all that together. So that's so super helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. Very good point. Good point. All right, guys. So that was good. Jimmy did a great job of setting expectations for your buyer. I love that. Go back and listen to this recording because he really broke it down.
He broke it down. Yes.
Yeah. I like that line you said, Jimmy, not line, but what you said about the maintenance issues. These are some of the, deferred maintenance things that maybe the seller didn't take care of that you will have to as the new owner. I love that.
And that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
And Rod, some of the things that I look at, and it might be a lot different than a lot of your because of the houses. A lot of the houses here are older. Last week I was at a 120-year-old house.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot of the houses have the whole thing, when they were built originally, they'll have a stone above the footer. There'll be like a stone wall, a stone basement wall. Now that works great when you first build it, but anybody knows that if you put water up against stone, over time that water's going to seep through. And when I go to these older houses, and also many of you have ever been to Pittsburgh, there's a lot of hills. So I always look at the house in relation to the slope. Water always rolls downhill. I go into the basement, and if it's an older house, I'll already know that. And if I have a client with me, I'll go through and show them some things. We'll go in, we'll see the stone wall, I'll see the age, and I'll tell them more than likely water's already come through. Once I kind of figure that or assume that, I always look for either the sump pump or the French drain, because more than likely over the years, water has come through. You're going to have a French drain and a sump pump. So I always find that. I always show that here's where the French drain was dug. Here's where the sump pump is. And so obviously, there was water, but they fixed. They've already addressed. And another thing is, if you go into a house like that's older, and it's a dry day, I always take them down to the basement and look at the floor. You'll see dust. There's always dust. But if you see dust that's uniform, more than likely it's dry and it hasn't had any water seepage. But if you see dust that is in a certain area, I will tell them more than likely that's where the water had come in the past. Because if you think about it, if you have a wet concrete floor, once it dries and then the dust starts to settle, it's going to settle where it was wet. But once it dries, you'll see where the dust was. So those are things that I kind of point out to folks, just to let them know, every house in Pittsburgh of a certain age, wherever you're at, is going to take some water.
That's
good. And it's either going to come from downhill on a slope because you're living on a hill, or it could be coming from up underneath the foundation, because there are a lot of abandoned coal mines here. So underground there could be pockets where they dug out the coal. Water could be collecting down underneath the ground. You don't know. And over time, that water will seep up to the foundation. So there are things that you want to just know. Basically, just kind of know what you're dealing. Know your terrain. Know what you're dealing with. I mean, and I know this from 50 plus years of living in Pennsylvania, but I don't know how many other agents mention that. Again, I only know because of age and living in houses out here. But
that's good, Jason. And that applies to us up here in Northern Virginia, because we got basements up here. Basements and crawl spaces, guys. You got to be careful. You got to really watch those, especially on the older homes. Basement and crawl spaces. So that's a good point.
A lot of those things that I just said, you're not necessarily going to see on a home inspection. If an inspector comes in and sees the wall, it's dry, it's not cracked, there's nothing going. They're not going to say much about it, and that's not something that they're not going to be able to determine whether or not that wall is bringing in water.
Right.
Yeah.
Another quick point to what Jason was saying and you're talking about right now also is this: just because everything on your home inspection report is on there does not mean you have to do every single thing. Meaning, for example, radon testing. I don't need to do a radon test in a neighborhood or an area where there is no basement, or
no building.
You got to understand things like that. If I'm selling a house in Waldorf or in Pennsylvania or whatever, where you see like coal mine, or there's an area where there's a lot of dumps, things being dumped in that area, or reclaimed land, I may want to do a radon testing in that area. just because of that factor. So you need to know your area and don't just select every single thing because it's on there. A chimney inspection. If it doesn't have a chimney or it's got a gas fireplace, why am I doing a chimney inspection? I'm making them spend money on things that is not even necessary. So be careful aware of things like that too.
And I know it sounds like a lot of information. So I want to tell you guys that we didn't walk in the door knowing this information.
Right.
We've done homework. A great source of getting some of this information is attending classes at your local Realtors Association. Many times home inspectors will come and give classes. There's so much information that you can glean from, and you will learn it simply by being in the place. I've learned so much from different home inspectors, different classes, different agents, and I just soak it up. I take good notes, and I make sure if I do have a question that's related to anything regarding a house, I ask it. Okay. Don't be afraid to ask somebody if they've ever encountered this and what happened.
Yep.
That's good. That's good. All right. Let's get on to the next one, guys. Choosing a good home inspector. Get referrals from other agents, guys. Who are we using? Who are they using in your area? If you want to get into reviews, sometimes I've had some buyers, even I let them choose their own. They had that type of personality. They wanted to go out and do the reviews and find their own. By all means, do it. Let them have their way, go ahead and get their own inspector. But I tend to try to, refer one or two that I use frequently. I got about 3 that I use over the years. But get a good home inspector, because at the end of the day, I want my buyer protected. That's how I get referrals. That's what I want to make sure that they're going into a home that doesn't have any issues, going on. So I want them to know, but at the same time, it needs to be that balance, setting expectations like you've been hearing from, some of the leaders on here.
Can I say something to that? This is a matter of your license, actually. Just because your client also picked their own professional, I'm not just going to limit you to a professional. You still, well, in Maryland, you are. Definitely you are. I don't know if it's the same for other states. You are still responsible for making sure that professional is licensed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So make sure you check those things out.
Yeah. Don't take a handyman in there.
Yep. Don't take no handyman, and don't let the home inspector scare your buyer. I had a home inspector one time scare my buyer just because he started a conversation about what he wouldn't do in a house.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not their house.
Quick.
Yeah. Don't let them kill your deal.
Yeah. Don't let them kill your deal.
Don't get home inspectors or any professional that is so egotistical that all they want to talk about what they will do or not do. It's not their house.
Yeah.
They are there to advise and give good advice and consent to their client. So,
absolutely.
That's good.
Right.
Advise, but stay in your lane. May need to be professional, guys. When you get into cracks and all that, just say, hey, we'll get a structural engineer. Because there's a certain liability. We got to stay within our realm. We're realtors. We're not licensed contractors. We're not plumbers. We're not structural engineers.
That's the first disclaimer.
Yeah.
When they ask you the question, say it right away. I'm just a realtor. I cannot advise you about structural. I cannot advise you about plumbing. Okay. We'll contact a professional.
Exactly.
You tell them, they're gonna remember you told them. Oh,
one of the things I was told when I first got my license by she was a Peggy Lynch at the board. She said, do not be the source, give a source. Especially because that's the first thing as an agent. Everybody thinks you know everything, but don't be the source, give a source. Even with your inspectors, one of the things I always say when I'm at when we finish up, I say, do we knock it down or we go forth? And that wraps up my inspection. I always say that, knock it down or go forth. And so that gives my inspector an opportunity to wrap it up. So those are 2 things I always think about when I do my inspections.
That's good, Joy.
Can we go back to what
Give
Joe
us
just
source.
said? Oh my gosh, I'm going to always use that, what she just said right now. That
Yep,
is so
writing it
vital.
down.
And just to expand on what she just said right now, this is key. Your home inspection could be going great, it could be going bad, it doesn't matter what it is. You're leaving it to a professional to give him an advice, but it's crucial at that point, before that inspector leaves, to ask that question that she said. Are we knocking this down or are we moving forward? Is this still the right house for you based on the things he's told you or not? Because it lets you know right there and then. If you have a buyer that is already now thinking, oh, when I see that report, I don't want to do it. Or when I say, oh, I understand, that's fine, that's understandable. That's so you're going to protect us, you're going to do this, you're going to be, it's important. That bit right there is very important. So you're not getting back home and now they're calling you or they're having a buyer's remorse 3 days to closing and then saying to you, is there a way we can get out of this contract when now you're outside of the contingency? It's important. Thank you so much for saying that. Are we knocking this down or are we moving forward? Is this still the right house for you? Are you comfortable with what we're talking about here? Do you understand that this is still something that is that we can remedy, or is this not the right house for you? It's best, I said they're not putting the blame on you.
Yeah.
And say it in front of the inspector, because
Yes.
when you say it in front of the inspector, he can co-sign, oh, no. I'm just saying you need to watch out for this and watch out for that. And so that'll hit the hot spots on the inspection report when he sends it to you. So make sure you say it in front of the inspector.
Yes.
Good. All right.
This is Andrew. I have another question / comment. Now, as far as the home inspector, going back to what you said, basically, we're not, I know that in the past, the tendency is to find someone that can get this thing done. But is it that we'll give the client, 3 or 4 home inspectors and said, you pick the person, I've checked with them, this is their availability, but so it's their selection and not yours, because if something goes south, they could say, well, you're the one that suggested that person or brought that person to the table.
My conversation, and I'll answer that quickly, is this. I have home inspectors that I use and they're all bonded, they're licensed. I'll give you those and you can make a decision. Or you can pick whoever you want to use and I'll still verify to make sure that they're licensed and we go with that person.
Yeah.
And the thing what I found in this last market we were in, and even the market now, is that that contract is time sensitive, as we talked about the days. If you got 5 days to do it, you need to be on the horn. Once you write that contract, it's ratified. You need to be able to pick up the phone, or even before it's ratified, to have people lined up. Because if you give it to people, they're getting busy. They're thinking about getting a house. They're not really thinking about the home inspection and things like that. May not be top of mind with them, but days could tick off and you can find yourself in a situation where now you blow past the home contingency or you need an extension or something like that. So you need to be proactive. Getting those, if you're going to get a home inspector in there, hey, tomorrow, then hey, you need to be on the horn with them and the home inspector. Even do a 3-way call if you have to. Hey, this is such and such. Hey, this is my client. If you need to go through the interview process quickly, a lot of times you don't have a lot of days to wait. Once that contract's ratified, them days start ticking. So you need to make that happen. You can't just give them 3 and say, hey, choose one, because they may just forget. And then
Right. That's a good point, Tim. And I usually ask, do you have a home inspector, or would you like me to refer you to one of mine? Yeah, and I keep it moving.
And as a matter of expediency, if you're looking for good companies, I can tell you one right now, one that I use, and I can call them at any point in time, maybe because of my relationship. They're a huge company, but they'll get me the day and time that I want. It's AmeriSpec. That's one company that I use. They're huge. They're bonded. They're behind their work. There are other companies like Mid-Atlantic, so find, and if you have, use a good company now, but the only issue is some good companies like, what's his first name? Mr. Moore, right? He's extremely good, but he's in high demand. So if that's the first option that you're using, and he's not available on the time, then you've got to be able to have a second option or third option. But it's our responsibility to let the client know that, listen, I've got 2 or 3 companies that I use. excellent. They bonded, they licensed, all of this stuff. They stand behind their work. I can recommend any of those ones to you, or you can choose one. But also remember, people are buying houses every single day. We need to move with speed, like Tim said. So we need to pick someone like yesterday.
Let me, Alicia, I saw you come on.
Yeah, I have a question. What if the home inspection is for information purposes only, but then the buyer changes their mind?
Yes, I'm gonna get to that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Hold that.
I'll hold
Put a
it.
pin in that.
Yeah. Let's see, where is that on my list?
It's five down, 6 down. So you have to move with lightning speed.
Yeah, let's go and hit it for Alicia. Yeah, so you will have that. I just had it on my for one of my listings, but it was a major issue. The hot water heater rusted out, looked like it's about to flood the whole basement. HVAC had mold. So health and safety issues, yeah, with that buyer, I would still go back there, even though I said, and this is, I'm putting on my buyer representation hat, even though I said home inspection for information purposes only, I'm still gonna go back with that report and say, hey, you got this issue right here. We're about to pull out of this contract, and it's almost, you know, a latent defect, something that you're gonna have to you know, disclose to somebody else who comes through here, or it's gonna come up again. Let's work together because this is a serious issue. So yes, you can go back, but it's up to them if they want to negotiate with you and work with you. But I would, as the buyer agent, even though I said for information purposes only, if I found something major, like here, we want to, you know, I want to remove this contingency, but can we deal with this? Can we address this? Can you ask your seller would they make this repair, fix this? Anybody else?
If I change my mind as the buyer, do I get my earnest money deposit back?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so if you change your mind, wait, say the first
Like,
part of the question.
For like, if it's information only, and then I'm, you know, information only inspection, and then I change my mind, will I get penalized as the buyer? Will I still get my earnest money deposit back?
So it depends on the contingency that you wrote.
Oh, okay.
You know, so if you said we're not doing there's no contingency whatsoever, we just want to, and you submit an addendum or you wrote it in that we just want to do one for information purposes only. No,
Yeah.
you're not going to get one. You're not
wow.
going to deposit back. However, you can say well, in Virginia, we can write one with the right to void, meaning that I'm not going to come back to you to repair anything, but I have the right to void.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they has the right to void. You can check that block on there that, you know, inspection with a right to void, meaning that you're not gonna ask them to fix anything, but you have the right to void. And so if you check that gives you your out, and it's in the addendum.
Thank you.
Thank
you for saying that.
Alicia, you're in Maryland, right?
No, I'm in Northern Virginia, Woodbridge.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I thought you all were in Maryland. I don't know why I would associate Maryland for some reason.
Maryland agents.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
For Maryland agents, I'm not licensed in Virginia. For Maryland agents, that's actually, this conversation is very good. And that's the reason why it was kind of like, the as-is was kind of like removed from the new contract.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different way of doing it. But generally, everything is, be careful when you're doing an as-is. It's either you go as-is with the right to void, as-is with the right to negotiate. So, and when you're doing that, like Alicia said, if you're going to do it for informational purposes only, you can do that. But you should not do that if you're not comfortable about the house that you walk through to see, to a certain extent, even though you're not a professional, how comfortable you feel about that. But leave yourself, especially your client, a room to be able to wiggle out if need be. So when you're saying information only, you've actually absolved the seller of any responsibility. Even if the house is going to fall into a cliff, because you said we're doing this, we're buying this house, and this home inspection is informational purposes only. It means we're informed by the term itself. We're informed that this house is going to fall off of the cliff by assumption. So there's no wiggle room for them. So if you want to add, you can say for informational purposes only, but allowing to negotiate for major structural issues or whatever. You need to, because if you make it absolute, the seller will, you will end up in arbitration, and you want to
Right.
avoid that for your client.
Yeah, and Alicia, a lot of those were happening, say, a year ago, 2 years ago. No inspection or informational purposes only, but you were putting your client's deposit at risk.
Yeah.
If there was an
Okay.
issue.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you for that, especially about the part with the void. That was very helpful. So thank you.
absolutely.
Hey,
Mhm.
I don't know. So y'all stuff is a little bit different from Central Virginia stuff. Here, if they do it as is, we have 10 days to come, 10 days to do it, whatever. But you can come back to them and say, hey, this is what's wrong. So negotiation part is if I come back and say, hey, we did it as is, however, this is wrong. And if it's really bad, then they have to disclose whatever is wrong anyway. So I try to get them to work it out by saying, hey, if you don't repair it, you got to disclose it anyway. So
Mhm.
work this out. So ours is a little bit different because we still have the as is, we have 10 days. And then if we don't make a decision within 10 days, we can walk or go. Or stay.
Yep. Good. All right. Sorry. All right, guys. This should have been a little bit higher up, but make sure you give the buyer estimate, how much the cost is, so they're not surprised on that day of. So get an estimate. When you call to request the home inspection from the inspector, they're probably gonna ask for the square footage and all that stuff, bedrooms and things like that. So get the estimate and provide, especially if there's radon. Also, let them know what the cost is gonna be upfront. So, and how is the payment made? How is the payment? Because a lot of times they may have to do it right there after. When that inspection is done, that inspector is expecting to get paid right then. So make sure everybody's kind of aware of that and know how much and how to make the payment. Okay, attend or have a licensed agent attend, guys. You can't, the home inspectors cannot be in the house by themselves. They cannot just go, you can't give them a code, or you can't open it up and leave them. You need to be in the house or have another licensed agent with that home inspector in the house. Is that right, everybody?
I don't even know why agents do that.
Guys,
That is right.
I get hot when I don't have I'm like, where's the agent? Where's the agent? Buyers cannot go look at houses. You can't give them codes and combos to look at houses by themselves.
And they just can't just go back to see the house just because without
Just
a conversation with the agent.
Ron,
Because you got to write a contract, not your house yet.
Yeah.
And also, while talking about that, 2 quick things. A home inspector cannot go to a house and then you think that they can start drilling into the ground because they want to do a well inspection without getting written consent from the seller first. They can't do those things. There's got to be an agreement from the seller that says it's okay for them to drill something. And another thing, that's the reason why you can get a situation where they have to go back and re-inspect if you're not there with them, because a home inspector will not turn on the gas, will not do any of that. If they flip the switch and it's not coming on, they're not going back to do it. If the water heater is turned off, they're not doing any of that. So you have to be there because they are not liable to do those things.
Right.
They protect themselves. So you have to be there.
Okay, guys, bring snacks, table. If it's a vacant house, then I carry my little survival kit. Have some water, some TP, toilet paper, chairs, bring some snacks. You're gonna be there 2-3 hours sometimes. So you want to be prepared. Have a little kit with you. Have some, hand sanitizer, some paper towels, TP again, chairs, especially if it's a vacant house again, chairs. Just be prepared. Bring your laptop, work on some stuff, that's my little kit that I bring, for vacant homes, especially for vacant ones. Discuss summary, any major issues with the inspector after the inspection. So they should be going over the high level items, which is discussing the summary. Man, we're getting close on time here. Review the report with your buyer. Prepare the contingency removal addendum with items for repair. I think you've been hearing that throughout the call, discussing those major items that we're going to go back and ask the seller. Trust me, they will flank on you. They will shift After you've had all the talk, the conversation, they will try to come up with everything on there. Again, you're going to have to reiterate to them. They may not do some of these items. So, you know, I just had one recently and it was a whole laundry list, even though we had the talk, but they came up with the whole, they wanted everything almost on the report. You will have those, guys. I'm gonna prep you now, but you do as much as you can from what you learned on this call to like try to avoid that. But some buyers are gonna be adamant that they want everything fixed on there. Anybody ever had that?
Oh,
Anybody
yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
You try to avoid it. And to my surprise, they got a lot of the things done. So I never want to have any contentious situation between me and my buyer. I said it, but hey, you're the boss. I'm working for you. You let me know what you want to do. You know, that's how I roll with it. You know, I've told her all I can, but they're the ones buying the house.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, they're the ones spending 500, 600, whatever on this house.
absolutely.
And it's their decision, guys. All we can do is consult and advise and to present it. Does that make sense, y'all?
Makes sense. They'll turn on you and say, you are looking out for them more than you looking out for me.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Who you working for?
Who you working for? That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, on home inspections, I'm very cautious. And like you guys just said, in that language, and that is their decision. And you got to make it clear and plain. Do
Yep.
you want to move forward? Do you want to walk away? If they kind of in the middle, I wouldn't nudge them either way. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be 100% because I've had that situation one time years ago, and it seemed like it was maybe some water damage behind the wall. You couldn't tell it was a moisture. You couldn't see it, but Marlon said, hey, it was a stain, and he put like a moisture meter. And I told my client, I said, hey, you know, might be an issue back here, we'll point it out to the homeowner. We can walk away, They wanted to go for it. And I was like, well, no, we can walk away. And then they kind of was like, well, I think I really like the house. I was like, well, okay, if you like it, then we'll go for it, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing was, when it ended up happening was once the house closed, you know, they gave a credit. They opened up the wall, found that the whole beam was rotted that holds at the back of the house. So what was the, you know, the little bit of credit they gave didn't cover the, you know, umpteen grand fix it was going to take to fix it. And of course, the buyer was like, well, you said that I should go ahead and I'm like, no. I told you a couple of times. The email, no, let's just walk. No, but they wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being a good experience for them. So I'm like, when they decide to move forward, I mean, I'm going to make sure that the home inspector, you know, definitely gives them, you know, their professional opinion. Then I'm gonna definitely recommend that they get some outside opinion, like you say, structural or whatever, and then of his mold, and then also that they feel comfortable about it. Because I don't want it to ever be in my court where I know we say, well, we're advisors our client, and that's good, but you don't want to put yourself in a liability situation where they want to come back on you because it seems like you were saying, go ahead and move forward. You know, so it's kind of walking that line, but just I would always say err on the caution of making 100% their decision.
Yes, I totally agree with Tim. Woo. Hey guys, so it's 2 minutes. We still got a couple of more. Do y'all want to go another 10 minutes or y'all want to table it to pick up on this next Tuesday? Because talking about repair versus money towards repairs. Repair, fix it, or money toward repairs. Repairs made prior to settlement. We need to talk about it. Final walkthrough, what that looks like. What y'all think?
I think we can knock it out and put in the recording.
Let's talk about it.
Y'all
We can
good?
talk about some of it, but I would like to have another discussion when we talk about the home inspection contingency removal.
Yeah.
That's a big topic, and I attended a class during the fall conference that shed a lot of light on it for me. I'm gonna pull out my copy and I'll provide it so that we can talk about that piece on Tuesday. But yeah, we can talk about the rest of it.
Okay, so okay, well, let's hit some of the other. Let's definitely pick back up on it next week, but we can hit
Is it
some
okay
of it.
meeting today? I hate to be the person. Is it? I don't know.
What was the question?
Say that again, Joy.
Is the Virginia State meeting today?
Oh, you know, it did pop up on my phone just now too. Okay. Okay, guys, let's go ahead. I don't want to.
No, don't make me the one. I'm not going.
No, because I need, if it's a Virginia State, I need to go over there. I don't want to ever keep anybody. I don't like having meetings when there's a higher meeting going. And that's the Virginia State meeting. So yeah, we'll table this because we want to do a deep dive. That's the purpose of these meetings. So we're not glossing over this because there's a lot of stuff in each one of these bullets that you all really need to know. It's a lot of, knowledge that y'all need to pick up from about 6 of these. Preparing the contingency removal addendum as is. Yeah, so we'll pick up Tuesday, guys. So y'all been enjoying this? Is this good stuff for y'all?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
definitely.
Thank you, everybody.
Definitely.
Okay. Oh, awesome, guys. All right, so we'll pick up Tuesday on home inspection, and then we'll go into financing and appraisal, because it's a lot about the financing, changing financing types, changing lenders. What does that mean? Why appraisals? Protecting deposit. So we're gonna do a deep dive in all that next week. Okay. All right, guys.
Awesome.
This is Dream Team Academy, Dream Team University. All right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
Thank
Rob.
you so
Okay,
much.
Virginia
Thank
Angels,
you.
Junior Virginia broker meeting.
Alrighty.
All right, God bless you. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Thank you.